Hey guys, a very warm welcome to all of you. In this video, we are going to look at how to set up a very simple and a basic static block at a bare minimum cost. The idea behind this is that we get the experience of setting up a block, but at the same time, we do not incur a lot of cost. Now, first, let us look at some of the components involved. Um, I'm just going to bring up a slide which would make it easier for me to explain. I'm just going to pause the video for a sec while Okay, so for the purpose of setting up this block, we would be using the following components. The first one is Ghost blogging platform for Windows along with Node.js. Now, the Ghost for Windows requires Node.js because the Ghost platform is actually Java based. The second one is web copy for Windows, and the next one is AWS S3 bucket with public access and static website enabled. And the last and final one is AWS Route 53. Now let us look at what each of these components do. So the Ghost blogging platform for Windows would be the actual component that we're going to use to create the blog and its contents. It also allows us to have a preview of how the blog would look like. Now Ghost is available in different versions, like it's available for Windows, Linux, etc. But I'm a Windows guy and I already have a Windows machine. I'm really comfortable working with Windows rather than Linux. So I'm going to go with the Windows version of Ghost. Once I build a blog and the contents are uploaded, then the next step is to extract the whole configuration and data as static assets in order to upload to AWS S3. Now we would need a software for that. So for this purpose, we're going to use web copy for Windows. Uh, this web copy would exactly do what is required for us. That is, it would extract all the contents uh, that we created using Ghost platform, and then it will store them in a particular folder. It's actually pretty good. It does that within a matter of few clicks. Once we have the contents extracted as static assets, the next step would be to upload them to AWS S3 bucket. But bear in mind, before we get to that stage, we need to ensure that we already have a proper AWS subscription already, and an AWS S3 bucket is set up with public access and static website enabled. We should also have an account that is created with full access to S3 bucket, which we would be using to upload the data. Now, once we have all these prerequisites in place and the contents are uploaded, the blog would be accessible to everyone pretty much instantly within a matter of a second. The only problem now is the S3 bucket address, which is actually really long, cumbersome, and not really ideal for someone to remember because it normally has the account name, the region, and the bucket name, which kind of makes sense for AWS, but it would not really make sense for the end user. So in order to make this easier for the viewers to get to the blog, we would actually need to purchase and set up a public domain. Once the domain and the DNS is set up, we would then need to configure redirection so that the DNS would redirect all the requests to AWS S3 bucket where the block contents are hosted. For this purpose, we will be using AWS Route 53. After Route 53 is configured for redirection, users would be directly able to access the block using the domain name. Okay, I think now that we have gone through a lot of theory, the next stage is to do some hands-on labs. Okay, so the first step is to set up the Ghost platform. I actually have it set up and configured in my laptop already, but because it's already running my blog, I did not want to make changes. So for this demonstration, I'm actually going to perform the installation in a virtual Windows machine, which we are actually seeing now. So there's already an excellent article that is available in Ghost website, which has clear step-by-step instructions for installing Ghost. I would actually add the link below this video. In order to get started, we first need to install Node.js. The current supported version, which we could find out if we click onto this hyperlink. Um, so the current supported version for now is 6.14. So we can browse to the website and download the version. In order to save some time, I already have it downloaded. So let's go ahead and perform the installation. The installation is pretty straightforward. Um, there is no input required. It's like very straightforward next stuff. Okay, it should be very quick. Let's give it a few seconds so that it does the install. Okay, now Node is successfully installed. Now let's get back to the article. Okay, so once Ghost is installed, the next step is to download and extract the Ghost binaries. I've already downloaded them, so it's in here. So let's extract them. Okay, come on. Okay, now all the required prerequisites are in place. So the next step is to install and configure Ghost. So what they say is open up Node.js command prompt, which should be already in start menu. Here we go, we already have it. I'm just gonna run it as an administrator to be on safer side because we never know what this UAC can do. Okay, so I have it open. What do they say? They ask me to navigate to the downloads location where I have the software saved. I'm just gonna copy paste the path, which is very easier than typing. All right, so we have the path. Now they ask me to install it as a production instance. Just gonna copy this and paste. Hopefully it goes through fine. So it's actually going to check the prerequisite whether node is already present. If node is not present, it's going to throw some errors. Or if the node is present but the version is not compatible, it's still going to complain about it. But I think we should be fine. We are using a supported version of Node. I'm just gonna pause the video for a few seconds so that we don't have to wait or we don't have to record all the installation process. Okay guys, we're back online and the Ghost installation is complete. The next step now is to start the Ghost platform in development mode, for which we just need to type this command. Just gonna copy it and gonna paste this. All right, looks like the services are up now. Let's test whether the blog is accessible. I'm just gonna open the browser and then gonna type. Actually, let me bring this browser a little bit down. Okay, I'm just gonna type localhost colon 2368. Hopefully, okay, sorry, I missed http localhost 2368. There you go. We already have our Ghost platform running. So now we have Ghost up and running. We just need to create an admin account so that we can make changes to this ghost setup. Okay, so the admin account or the admin account creation can be done by just typing localhost colon 2368/ghost. Now it's going to prompt you to create an account. Just need to give an email address, full name, password, and the title. uh, Once you do it, the next page is going to be asking you to invite your team. So in case if you have anyone, you can add the email address. If not, just click next and finish. That would create you a ghost account. I'm just not going to do it because I already have it set up in my other machine. So I'm just using this to just show you the installation process. Now I'm just going to pause the video for a second so that I can bring up my other Ghost instance where it is already set up and running. Okay guys, so this is my Ghost platform which I have set up in my personal laptop. I already have an admin account created. I'm just gonna log in now. Okay, so we are now logged into the Ghost platform. Now we can start creating our own posts, modify the existing posts, um, you know, add our logos, icons, make changes to the Facebook page, add our Twitter profile, um, change the themes. And there are a lot of things that you could do. They have detailed instructions on their website as to how we can manage this Ghost platform. Um, for the purpose of this article, I'm just not going to get into all of those because that is going to be a very long video if I decide to explain you every single feature in this blog platform. So for now, I think this is more than sufficient to at least get the blog running. So once you get into this console, everything is very self-explanatory. So it must be really easy for you to get going right from the word go. You can simply navigate across and see what each of these options do and what they mean. In case if you're stuck, in case if you don't know what they are, if you just do a simple Google search with the specifics, you're just gonna find the ghost article which is going to explain what it does. um, so once you have this block set up, let's assume that we already have it set up. I'm just going to use one of my existing posts or existing changes that I've made to this block to just demonstrate the extraction of static assets piece, um, and also uploading to AWS S3. Okay, so uh, so we already have the contents. There are a number of posts that are already added. So the next step is to get the web copy software installed and configured so that we can do the extraction of static assets. I'm gonna pause the video again so that I can switch back to the virtual machine in order to show you the installation process of web copy software. Okay guys, I am back to the virtual machine. So I'm in Webcopy's website. Like Sciotech is the company which provides this software. You can just do a Google search. I would add these links as well. Now I run Windows, so I'm just gonna find the Windows version of it. So it's under the downloads directory. So let's download the current version. Hopefully it downloads quick. Just hit download, save. It's a very small software, so it should be very quick unless there is a security issue that this can identify. But I don't think there will be any security issues because I have already installed it in my local laptop and it just runs fine. Okay, the scan is complete and it's ready to go. I've just hit run. Yes. And once again, this is a very straightforward installation. There's nothing that you would need to modify. You can create a desktop icon, makes it easier. Okay, this should take a couple of seconds or maybe a minute, less than a minute. Come on. Okay, the installation is now complete. And once the installation is complete, it should show up in your starter remote programs as a icon. So there you go, web copy is showing up in your start menu. I'm just gonna pause the video and switch back to my local machine so that I can show you the content extraction process. Okay guys, I am back at my local machine. Um, so I've opened the web copy icon. So the extraction process is very simple. All that we need to do is enter the website name, which would be localhost colon 236 site for us, and also a location where it needs to download the files. And all that you need to do is hit copy and wait for it to complete. Unless you, okay, so unless your website is too big, it shouldn't take long. Like mine is like 1.78 megabyte, so it was very quick. We can open the output folder if you want to look at what it extracted. This is basically all the configuration and all the content that we had in the block. Now that we have the static assets, the next step is to upload them to AWS S3 bucket. I'm just going to pause the video again so that I can log into my S3 account. Okay, here we are. I'm logged into my S3, sorry, AWS console, and I'm in AWS S3 section. I already have a bucket created, but if you want, you can just go ahead and create a bucket. I'm not going to go through the details of how to subscribe for AWS and how to create an S3 bucket, how to assign a permission, um, and all those details, because that will make this video a completely different um, demonstration altogether. I think there are already a number of videos and articles published by both AWS and several experts in the internet. I would actually publish a couple of those links below this video so that it's easier for you to understand how to create a AWS subscription and how to create AWS S3 bucket. Um, for this demonstration, we're just going to use the existing bucket that I've already created. So this is one of those existing buckets. As you could see, I've already uploaded the data once. We can do it again. Now, the important thing to note is the permission. I just need to make sure that it is public and static website hosting is enabled. So we just need to go to static website hosting and make sure we select this radio button, and the index document should be index.html, which we extracted using web copy already. Just need to hit save. Once it's done, now we can go ahead and upload the files to S3. Now there are two ways to do it. One is using the upload option here, but the only problem is this allows us to upload only files and not folders. So, but as you could see, there are a number of folders and subfolders or maybe files inside those folders that we need to upload. So one option is we upload all the files and then manually create these folders and upload the files inside those folders. But because there are too many of them, that is actually not ideal. So what we are going to do is we're going to use the CLI, AWS CLI, to uh, copy all the data from this local machine to this the AWS S3 bucket. Now, once again, I'm not going to show you how to set up the AWS S3, C, AWS CLI. There's already a very nice article in AWS website as to how to use the CLI and how to upload files to S3 using CLI. I will add those links as well. But for now, let's jump back to AWS CLI and start the copy. I already have the CLI open and configured. All that I need to do is run the command to upload, which is this. I'll add this command as well uh, under this video. I just need to run this, and what it would do is it will actually copy all the files and folders from my local machine to S3. There you go, it's pretty quick. Okay, now all the contents is copied, so all our data is already available in S3. The next step is to access our blog. Um, so in order to get the URL for accessing this S3 website, you can go to properties, static website hosting, and then you can find the endpoint here. If you just click on it, it should open up our blog. There you go. Now we have our blog up and running online, accessible over the internet in a matter of few minutes. There you go, everything is accessible. Okay, now we know that our S3 bucket is doing what it is supposed to do. But as I mentioned before, the only problem now is the URL. I don't know if you could see. I think you should be able to see now. So look at this. This is the URL that the S3 bucket gives us. Now, as I mentioned before, this one is very long and cumbersome, and there's no way a user is going to remember this. So in order to mitigate this problem, we need to buy a domain and register it against the DNS and then configure redirection. I am just going to pause the video now so that I can get to the Route 53 service and then have everything set up for domain registration. Okay, so we are now back to the AWS console and I'm at AWS Route 53 service. I'm just gonna go first purchase my domain. I mean, you can use GoDaddy, you can use number of service providers who, um, you know, allow you to purchase domains. I'm just gonna use AWS Route 53 for simplicity. I'm just gonna go register domain. I'm just gonna find if the domain I wanted is available. Check. There you go, it is available. I'm just gonna add it to cart and say continue. And I'm just gonna enter the details, which I just don't want to record. So I'm just gonna pause the video for a second. Okay, now the domain registration is successful. It says it might take up to 3 days for the domain registration to complete, and I will receive an email when the registration is complete. Now, I do not know if it's really going to take 3 days. Let's just find out. Go to domains. Domain registration is in progress. Maybe it takes 3 days, or maybe it takes a couple of hours. I'm just gonna pause the video for some time and see what happens. If the registration does not happen in the next few minutes, then we don't have an option. I will just stop the video here and then resume the video later on once the registration is complete. Okay guys, I'm back now. After an hour, I received an email that the domain registration was complete. Now if I come to my registered domains, I could see that it's already complete and there's an expiry date which is for next year. So now that this phase is complete, the next phase is to set up the DNS records. Now I have to go to hosted zones, and the zone is already created because we purchased the domain using AWS. Now I'm going to select this and then say go to record sets, and then I'm going to create a new record set. Now in order to set up a domain redirection for our S3 bucket, we need to ensure that the S3 bucket name exactly matches the record set name. For example, if I had created my bucket as just Sudhakar, so if I type something here like blogs or maybe Sudhakar, then the record will be like sudhakar.sudhakarplug.com, which is obviously not same as the S3 bucket name. So it's not going to show up in the alias. Um, so for our blog, the bucket name was sudhakarplug.com, so which is actually a parent record. So for that purpose, I'm going to leave the name empty so that the record will remain as sudhakarplug.com. The type is going to be A and alias is going to be yes. And then when I click on this text box, it should bring up all the endpoints that are available. As you could see, our bucket, which is sudhakarplug.com, is showing up now. I just need to select this, and then I will leave the rest to default. The routing policy, I will leave it to simple, and target health check, I will leave it to no, and then I'll say create. I'm not going to hit create because I already have it created. You can see it here. So but once I hit create, it's going to create the record. After the record is created, maybe after like 5 minutes or so, once all the DNS are updated, our blog should be accessible using your domain name. It's been already more than 5 minutes since I've created the record, so let's actually open a new tab. Just going to it and test lockerplugged.com. Okay, cool. Right, I could now see my blog accessible over the internet, and that too using my domain name. Now, I think it's going to be far more easier for the users to remember this name when compared to the previous one where it had my account name, region, and the bucket name. Okay, so I think this brings us the actually sorry, the other thing is this website is now accessible only using HTTP. In case if you need HTTPS access, then we will need to set up something known as CloudFront and then enable SSL access. We will also need to purchase SSL certificates. I'm not going to go through the details of those in this demonstration because that itself is a very big topic and that would consume at least more than 30 minutes. I'm going to release another part to this video where I would demonstrate setting up SSL and SSL certificates to a blog. For now, I think we have been able to demonstrate what is required to set up a simple blog and also the components that are involved in setting up this blog. I guess that's the end of this demonstration. Thanks guys, thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments or questions or any issues, please do send me your comments. I will try to respond to you as quickly as possible. Thank you.